The heart of your teams. The heart of Minnesota. Valley Sports. The heart of Minnesota. Valley Sports North. The heart of the fan.
In Cleveland, the Twins are back at home, where tonight they look to start the month of July on a high note as they open up a 3-game series with the Orioles. Happy 4th of July weekend. Minnesota's dominated Baltimore in the last 5 seasons. Since 2018, they have a plus 56 run differential against the American League foe, helping them to an 18-5 record. At home during that span, a perfect 10-0 record. A chance for the home club to continue that success tonight. Hello, everyone, and welcome here to Target Field. I'm Katie Storm. Well, it was certainly a tough stretch of baseball for the Minnesota Twins out in Cleveland, but they do continue to lead the American League Central only by a slim margin. Tonight, they'll look to hold their position, and they'll, of course, look for a bounce-back effort. The Twins suffered back-to-back walk-off losses in Cleveland, and tonight they're focused on getting back to business and the win column. Their bullpen looks to get back on track as well. 3 blown saves since Monday, the most among all pens in the majors. Pitching as a whole is certainly important. Speaking of pitching, after the departure of Wes Johnson, Pete Mackey officially takes over duties as a pitching coach. Mackey knows this team and its players well. He's been with the organization since 2018. A new chapter starts tonight. And although the Twins have had the upper hand against the Orioles over the last 5 seasons, they are not to be taken lightly. The O's coming off of their first winning month since 2017 with their offense and defense getting it done. Well, the Twins with a major opportunity to turn things around here tonight, and Joe Ryan he'll look to put his team in the best position to do so. We'll take a quick break, and coming up, Dick Bramer and Glenn Perkins lead you up to first pitch with a discussion and preview of Joe Ryan's start tonight.
Valley Sports North is brought to you by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, let your story begin. And by Luther Group. Shop the Twin Cities' largest selection of vehicles at lutherauto.com. It's a holiday weekend, and what would a summer holiday weekend be without baseball? First of 3 between the Orioles and the Minnesota Twins. Joe Ryan will make his second start against Baltimore this year, and the Twins will get their second look at right-hander Spencer Watkins. Beautiful Friday night for baseball. Dick Bramer along with Glenn Perkins here at Target Field. We only saw Joe Ryan for 5 starts last year, but I think we all were impressed. What we've seen this year, though, looks to be a more well-rounded pitcher.
Yeah, more well-rounded, a little bit different version. And like you see with young hitters, young pitchers also have to make adjustments. The Major Leagues is all about adjustments. What Joe Ryan has done from last year to this year, you take a look, 66% fastballs last year. That's a lot. Cut that down to 58. The slider usage up. In Joe Ryan's case, less is more. With that fastball, he's thrown it less. It's been way more valuable. And the reason that it's been more valuable is that guys can't sit on it. Guys can't just look for it because he's able to throw other off-speed pitches for strikes. His slider is his best off-speed pitch. He's got a curveball that he'll throw in there occasionally and a developing changeup that he's trying to gain confidence in, but it's that 2-pitch mix of the fastball and slider that has been the key. He's going to get the majority of his strikeouts on sliders and then fastballs late in the count. And as you watch these videos, there's the curveball right there early in the count with the curveball, and he'll throw changeups, he'll throw sliders, but then he'll use those pitches to get hitters off that fastball. And then that fastball can come in, and it's only 90, 91, maybe 92 miles an hour, but it plays up. It plays up because he's got good spin on it, but it also plays up because he'll use those off-speed pitches effectively in his zone. It's been the biggest adjustment that Joe Ryan has made so far in his career.
June was a winning month for the Orioles. It was a losing and very frustrating month for the Minnesota Twins, but hey, it's July 1st. We're starting a new month and a new series when we come back. No rain in the forecast, and the Twins are hoping to rediscover some home field magic. This is the 80th game for the Twins this year, almost the midway point of the season, and the breakaway point for Wes Johnson after 79 games. Pete Mackey announced today as the new pitching coach. He was the bullpen coach.
Yeah, he's very familiar with the guys out in the bullpen, and he said as much in the pregame show and in his pregame interview that it's going to be on him to learn these starting pitchers, to learn their personalities, learn what makes them tick. So we'll see how that progresses as the season goes on. But the good thing is he does know what the guys throw. He knows how they like to get outs, how they get to 2 strikes, all those things. So that the jump, the transition shouldn't be as difficult as if they brought somebody from the outside or from somebody, somebody that wasn't up here at the big league level.
Yeah, it's good to see that the Twins stayed in-house with this, because to bring someone in from the outside would have been terribly difficult, awkward, and all of that for both the pitchers and the new coach.
Yeah, and I mean, it's almost not possible. So a guy that they at least know his face. If they don't know him, they know his face. That's the first step. So I think Pete Mackey will get to know these guys.
Joe Ryan will take on the Orioles for the second time, and Brandon Hyde has to be happy. We didn't see him smile much when we saw him in early May, but they're coming off their first winning month in nearly 5 years, and here's how they will line up tonight. Brought to you by Menard. Cedric Mullins leading off. Austin Hayes, Anthony Santander, Ryan Mountcastle. Adley Rutschman was not with the team when the Twins played the Orioles in Baltimore. Rougned Odor, Ryan McKenna, Jonathan Arauz, and Jorge Mateo.
And there's Joe Ryan on the mound for the Twins tonight. His stats brought to you by Home Furniture, making his 12th start. A couple starts since he's come back from COVID. He's still working his way back, but the last couple of games in Cleveland, shorter starts, 5 innings from Bundy, 4 from Archer. They're going to need some length out of him tonight. That bullpen, a little bit worn out, but he's been pretty good at that when he's right. Take a look at what he throws. We just talked about him, that 4-seamer, using it less, more effective. The slider's been a really good pitch for him last year and this year. He's throwing it a heck of a lot more this year, so those are his 2 go-tos right there.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. An outfield of Kirilloff, Buxton, and Kepler. An infield of Urshela, Correa, Polanco, and Miranda. Ryan Jeffers doing the catching. So a night game tonight, a day game tomorrow, another day game on Sunday, and then the Twins are back on the road again. 3 games in Chicago, a day off, and 3 games in Arlington, Texas against the Rangers. And while the Twins are playing the Orioles this weekend, the Guardians will be playing the Yankees, but not tonight. That game's already been postponed because of rain. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow, another doubleheader for Terry Francona and the Guardians.
And I'm not sure how bad the forecast was, but maybe an off day was what they needed or what they wanted after that stretch of 5 games in 4 days against the Twins.
Cedric Mullins on the first pitch lifts a deep but foul down the right field line. Ryan has a reputation of being a strike thrower, but that has been one of the problems since he's come back from COVID. His strike percentage, something I spend a lot of time looking at as a starting pitcher. I don't know whether you think it's that important, but his strike percentage has been down since he's come back from the COVID IL.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's 2 things that obviously you want a guy to throw strikes. You want him to get ahead, strike 1. Those are the 2 most important things. And then can you get swing and misses outside the strike zone? Do you have the stuff to get guys to chase? And Joe Ryan has that, and all 3 of those things down a little bit. But I'd expect that as he gets further away from that, he'll recover.
1 and 2.
And it took Dylan Bundy some time. It took him a good couple of starts. He's looked better. The stuff ticked back up for him, especially in his last start here at Target Field. So Joe Ryan, the further he gets away from that, I think the stronger he'll get, and that takes a toll on everybody differently. And he was out for a while too, so there's that. You got to build the arm back up, all those things. But
in his last start, he picked up the win against the Rockies. 5 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, only 1 strikeout. Lifted, foul. And Miranda over near the screen has no play. Still 1 and 2. So with the Guardians being rained out after the ball game here tonight, the Twins will either have a half-game lead or a game-and-a-half lead in the American League Central. White Sox in the Bay Area playing the Giants this weekend. And there's Ryan getting that first strikeout out of the way right away.
Yeah, good sign from Joe Ryan. He is a guy that they want to miss bats. He's done a nice job of that in his career, minor leagues and in the major leagues. And good sign right there too, a changeup, and that's a pitch he talked last week. That's not a pitch that he typically uses to get strikeouts. It might get him to a strikeout, but a good one there. He pulled the string a couple times in that at bat against Mullins, but a really good one right there.
It's a 1 down, and Austin Hayes at the plate. And a swing and a miss there on the first pitch to Hayes. And we show it to you, so we must think it's important. We'll show the velocity, that at 93, which is, I guess, the top high end for Ryan. And if he can stay there, then that would be a good sign as well. Nice.
Yeah, and not a guy that's going to blow anybody away with velocity, but the carry that he has, and I like it here at Target Field. We can look right at the vertical break. That one's 16 inches, so staying on plane state, good ride on that pitch, and that's a good sign early on.
Another swing and a miss on another 93-mile-per-hour fastball. To center. Buxton comes in, makes the catch. That was an interesting stat, that the batting average against Ryan's fastball well below 200, and it's not obviously because of the velocity.
Yeah, no, there's command, and obviously the delivery is a little unique too. And there's been some talk of the water polo that he played. I think in high school it was, that kind of has a little bit different delivery. He releases the ball from lower, so it's a unique arm slot, and then he is able to get pretty good carry, but it plays up as much as anything from the slot that he throws in.
Fall back.
It almost looks like the ball comes out of his shoulder in a way. So very flexible, good whippy arm, hides the ball well. So those are all things that make that 93 look a lot faster than 93.
1 strike. Fall back, and in your answer you gave me yet another excuse to tell people why I didn't make it to the big leagues. It's because Staples High School did not have a water polo program.
Okay. Is that the main reason?
It's another reason.
It's another one.
I
didn't know if that was at the top of the list.
I've detailed 14 or 15 over the years. 2 strikes and a foul back. Santander, the designated hitter for the Orioles. And down and in. It's beyond the winning June. That was notable enough, as we said, for the Orioles, because they had not had a winning month in nearly 5 years, but they were just a couple of games below 500 in May. So for the 2 months, May and June, they played 500 baseball. And when you have perennially lost over 100 games, the fan base is looking for anything to be encouraged about.
Yeah, and they have some good young players, and we'll see Rutschman here in a second. A catcher, top prospect in the game kind of guy. So they're building.
It's to center, and Buxton comes in, catches that line drive about the same place he caught Hayes, and it's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Joe Ryan. Ryan just came off the mound after a 1-2-3 inning. A little chat with the starting pitcher from the new pitching coach. The Menards batting order for the Twins has Luis Arraez on top, followed by Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, Max Kepler, Jorge Polanco, Jose Miranda, Alex Kirilloff, Gio Urshela, and Ryan Jeffers.
And those guys will face Spencer Watkins, making his 10th start this season, and not a hard thrower. He's got a really good slider. That'll be the pitch that he'll go to with 2 strikes if he needs a strikeout. Take a look at his pitch selection right there, 4-seam cutter. So 60% of the time something with velocity. And there's that slider right there, 176 opponents hitting off that. So that's his main out pitch right there.
And Arise takes a strike. One strike to Arise. The Twins going with the ABC top of the lineup: Arise, Buxton, and Correa. And now 1-1. Watkins did okay against the Twins back on May 5th. 4 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, but they all the runs came on a 3-run home run by Byron Buxton. Started the year with 5 straight no decisions. Then took a loss. Was hit by a line drive and missed some time. Came back and had a good game against the White Sox. Didn't give up any earned runs in 5 innings and got his first win of the year. A drive to right center field. That ball's hit well. It'll be a double for Luis Arise. Stung a couple of line drive singles last night or yesterday afternoon, and starts the ball game tonight with a very hard hit double.
Yeah, good at bat by Luis. We saw him fly out a couple of times early. First pitch of the at bat of the game in Cleveland, and they're a little bit better at bat. He did that yesterday against Bieber as well. And here he gets a fastball up, and he picks his spots to pull it. He likes to hit the ball to left center field, but especially here at Target Field, he takes shots, tries to pull some balls. He's got all his home runs at Target Field this year. Easy stand-up double.
And now Buxton, who with the big 3-run bomb against Watkins in Baltimore 2 months ago. If you're only going to hit 363 in one ballpark, it's good that it's your home ballpark.
Well, yeah, I'm hitting 317 on the road, also pretty good. It's pretty amazing what he's done this season, and there it is, the 4 home runs at home.
Up and in, 1-1. Buxton leading the team with 20 home runs, and we're not quite to the midway point of the season. That'll come after tomorrow afternoon's game. Inside again, 2-1. Strike call. And it's 2-2.
And that's a cutter right there, so that you see the fastballs, he's more inside, and then that cutter, he'll use that, and he's located that really well this year on the outside corner, down and away. He's done a really nice job locating that pitch away, so he'll throw that out there. And that's what makes his slider play up. He'll throw his slider off of that. You get chases.
Protecting the plate. Flip foul. With a couple of men on in Baltimore. And Byron hit one to left center field. A very long way, even with the extended wall and high wall in left field.
That's what I was going to say. You got to get it out there. And that used to be such a bandbox. They've made that swing way back more into the pitcher's direction.
3-2. It's one of the reasons, not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why the team ERA is down by more than a run from where it was a year ago. That has had a profound difference on the Oriole pitching staff, with 81 games playing in front of the Great Wall of China.
Well, and there's been more than one time where guys have broken bats and hit balls out to left field there. So it's it seemed like every ball hit in the air there was at least getting to the warning track. So I think they needed to do something. I guess we'll see if they did too much.
Foul. You sound like you have personal experience with that.
Not breaking a bat. I think I did okay at Camden. We didn't go there much, you know. I mean, it was once a year, so I think I probably hung in there. But just seeing games and you know, you even batting practice there. It was so easy, and then the way that wall curved in, especially down the left field line. So you know, and they are playing 81 games there. So if it takes some home runs away from the team, but it gives their pitching staff a chance. I mean, I like pitching here when the concrete was settling, all those things.
There's a high fly down the left field line, a very long run for McKenna, and he won't get there. Speedy left fielder almost had room enough to make the play there. Buxton running out the count here. Already a dozen pitches. McKenna's never played here before, and if it had been on the playing field, he might have made the catch.
Yeah, good effort, and got that netting over there too, so another obstacle for these guys to deal with.
High fastball got him. So Buxton strikes out. The rise still at second. That'll bring up Carlos Correa. Northland 4 defense for the Orioles. McKenna in left. Cedric Mullins in center. Austin Hayes is in right. Jonathan Arayuz at third. Jorge Mateo at short. Veteran Rougned Odor at second. Ryan Mountcastle at first. And the highly thought of Adley Rushman behind the plate. Well, here is Correa. In the dirt, ball one. Very solid numbers for Correa, almost certainly going to the All-Star game again in Los Angeles this year. Off-speed pitch in there, 1-1. An anomaly yesterday, committed 2 errors, just his 4th and 5th errors of the year.
Yeah, one that grounder up the middle, a tough play. The other one was definitely more of a mental error and ended up being an error on the scoreboard as well, but making a throw that he probably could have eaten. But I would say by and large, it's his defense has a way of almost making everything look easy. There's some highlight plays, but it's a lot like Buck out in center, that the routine plays are highlights for other guys, and he's so smooth. He's got such a strong arm, and not getting to see him play that much, it's been really fun watching him, how easy he plays that position.
2-2. He's trying to take advantage of the leadoff double by Luis Arraez. Orioles infield playing Correa straight up to a side. That's poked to right, a base hit. Arraez will gain third base and hold up there. We see Correa do that a lot, particularly with 2 strikes, opening up the whole field and getting some hits to the opposite field.
Yeah, at a time in the game where not a lot of guys have 2-strike approaches. Carlos Correa, he pinch hit the other night and had a big hit, single the other way, and he choked up on that one. This one here, he's not choked up, but he's definitely, you can see that's an adjusted, altered swing, and also knowing how Watkins on the mound goes about trying to get guys out, that cutter, the slider away. So he knows he's going to get something away. He'll react to something in, but a short, good, quick swing right there. Not trying to do too much, and knowing that if he gets it up in the strike zone, that he's able to hit it to right field.
Here's Kepler. Got in on the handle of the bat, 1 strike. Watkins in a bit of trouble. A couple of line drive hits here in the first inning. 1-1. Orioles have had some issues with their starting rotation, but their bullpen's been pretty good. Kind of a mirror image of what the Twins' last week and a half has been like. The starting pitching's been really good for Minnesota, but the bullpen has sprung some leaks. In the dirt, 2-1. Already 21 pitches for Watkins. He struck out Buxton, but it took him a lot of pitches to do that. And so far, just one out on the board. Three and one. Polanco on deck. Ball four, and they're loaded up.
Good at bat by Kepler there. And didn't look Watkins like he really wanted a part of Kepler there. 3-1 he does like his cutter, and it's got good movement. Good at bat by Kepler.
Now Polanco. Polanco's saying that telling me that his back feels a whole lot better as he tries to work his way back into being an everyday player. With the back issue, he told me particularly bothered him hitting right-handed. So then he jumps back into the lineup as a right-handed batter and gets a sharp single and hits a home run. So maybe that's the best indication that the back is feeling better. One strike.
Yeah, Jorge's, I mean, he's a grinder. He'll play every day. They made him take a day off the other day. Just saying, we have to protect you. You'll tell us that you're fine. You'll be out there. And the stuff that he's played through over the last couple of years and to play at the level he's played at is quite impressive.
2 strikes. Watkins has pitched himself into a real mess here, but he gets ahead of Polanco 0-2. Taken low. Orioles had an off day yesterday. Watkins has already thrown 26 pitches here, and he is considered a pitching prospect. They won't run him beyond 100 pitches, I wouldn't think, and he's used up a quarter of them here with only 1 out. 2-2.
And the Twins, they've done a good job of this early in games, grinding at bats out against pitchers, scoring early in games, and that's been their game plan. They haven't, and part of that plan is to try to get to a bullpen, and so we saw in Cleveland a couple times they were able to add on, but by and large haven't been able to add on. So important to get some runs early when you can.
Polanco strikes out. Bases are still loaded now, 2 down for Jose Miranda.
And good cutter from Watkins there, and you see he'll use that and run it in. He ran one in early in the count against Jorge, and then there kind of gets a little bit more depth on it. So Jorge's seeing that, thinking it's in the zone, and then it breaks down below the strike zone.
Here's Miranda. Through the hole to left, and the rookie comes through again. One run will score, and that'll be it. A perfect one-hop throw from Ryan McKenna. A great throw on one hop to Rutschman, and Correa was gunned down, but Arise scored, and the Twins will take a 1-0 lead.
At the end of that first inning puts Minnesota ahead 1-0. We head into the second. Welcome back to Target Field, where our clubhouse coverage for tonight focuses on the two new members of the pitching staff. They've been members of this organization with, of course, Colby Suggs, now the bullpen coach, and Pete Mackey, the pitching coach. Pete Mackey told us about his coaching style ahead of tonight's game.
I can't match Wes's energy and enthusiasm that he brings every day, but I like to be a leader by presenting good information to pitchers and treating them with respect and listening to what their needs are and trying to serve them best.
Dick and Glenn, you both earlier talked about the transition, how much easier it is, of course, internally in the organization. And Pete said the same. He just said the biggest transition for him is going to be reacting to a more quicker speed tonight, more game time decisions over what he was doing previously.
Well, thank you, Katie. It'll be Ryan Mountcastle leading off the second. I would think the biggest transition would be, I mean, you got to be engaged in the first inning, and rather than the bullpen coach, you hope you aren't needed in the early innings to get somebody warmed up and all that. Mountcastle fouls at 1-1.
Yeah, and I think, you know, they have Luis Ramirez in the dugout as well, so other guys down there that are going to be able to help, going to be able to ease the transition as well. And Pete Mackey's been with these guys enough that
big swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
That I think he'll be able to get it done. We just saw Chris Archer talking to him in between innings, so you find a little bit of that. Some of these veteran guys, I think the younger pitchers are going to lean on those guys, and I think Pete Mackey might lean a little bit on some of the veteran guys as well, just to try to help figure things out.
Fouled back. For the most part, the rotation is filled with veterans. Archer, Bundy, Sonny Gray, who, you know, by now established their own routines, you would think, and know what works for them, what doesn't work for them. Half swing, but strike 3. One down. That'll bring up Adley Rutschman. For the best coverage in the game, let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam. And the left fielder for the Orioles, Ryan McKenna, played this perfectly.
Yeah, and you got to come up and make a good throw. He charged it hard. Carlos Correa got a decent jump around, and at this point in the game, I think Tommy Watkins decided, let's challenge the left fielder, make him make a perfect throw. He did exactly that. Very close at home plate.
The back of the left leg about the time the left foot touched the plate, but no challenge from the Twins. Maybe because it was the first inning. First pitch strike to Rutschman. Little roller. Back to the bag. Miranda is able to get there. He again committed to the ground ball and then had to hustle to get back to the bag.
Yeah, and that's one of those things over at first base. I'm sure Justin Morneau's talked about it, that you only going to learn from experience. Jose Miranda, not a ton of experience over at first base, and we've seen him stray a little bit too far off at times. And that one he went, got himself back, and the only hesitation there was just that he was playing so deep to start with. So he did a good job recovering there. Joe Ryan getting over, but that's one of those you're just going to learn that from getting ground balls, and you're going to know that if you're back like that, then you've got Jorge Polanco back there as well. You've got guys behind you in that same shift.
And it has to be that infield play, whether you're at third, short, second, or first, is so much more complex than it was 10 years ago, because not many times 10 years ago did a first baseman look over and find his second baseman about 30 feet to his right.
No, I think all of this, I mean, in even the double plays that we've seen turn some of the funky, you know, the 5-6 threes and the 4-5-3 kind of stuff that we've seen. All of these guys, you're almost learning a new position in a way.
1-1 to Odor. Fly ball right field. Plenty of time for Kepler to come in and put it away. And Joe Ryan's got 1, 2, 3 innings to get his night started on just a handful of pitches. 4th of July holiday weekend. Dick Bramer along with Katie Storm and Glenn Perkins. And you can join the Greater Twin Cities United Way at Valley Sports North for Action Day 2022. Together we'll provide 50,000 local students with backpacks full of school supplies, so they'll have everything they need when they head back to class this fall. Register to volunteer at uwactionday.org. Alex Kirilloff will lead off the 2nd inning. Watkins only retired 2 batters. He gave up 3 hits, a walk, but only 1 run. One and 0. Chop right to the shortstop. Mateo has it. Quick flip and a quick first out. That'll bring up Gio Urshela. Urshela, the 8th place hitter, then Ryan Jeffers, the 9th place hitter. Twins looking forward to playing this weekend at home, but sometimes it just seems like a change of scenery. Whether it's home, road. I mean, if you have a bad homestand, but you get out on the road, sometimes that gets everybody's to relax or whatever and play better.
Yeah, and you know that series in Cleveland, they all want to forget, obviously, but results aside, that's a long time to be in a city. It's that Tuesday is a long day for the players. So, and then obviously the way that series went, they couldn't get out of there fast enough.
It's hit hard to center. Mullins is back, slicing away from him. He stays with it, 2 away. And now Ryan Jeffers, but first a word from the Home Depot.
Get your job lineup in order. Snap a picture and let the Home Depot app find the product you need fast.
1-0 Twins. Ryan Jeffers doing the catching. Gary Sanchez had a bit of a heel injury late in the ball game yesterday, and so we'll see when Sanchez gets duty behind the plate again. That's to the right field corner, chased by Hayes, and he's there. My goodness, Watkins struggled in the 1st inning, but he had a 1-2-3 second.
I want to take you back to this at bat by Ryan Mountcastle. We talked about this in the pregame. In the open, Joe Ryan using that fastball less this year, using his off-speed stuff a little bit more, especially that slider and the effect that has had on his fastball. It was a valuable pitch last year. But what he's done is use that breaking ball to get him in situations like that right there. He can run that fastball up. We saw a lot more fastballs last year. Guys were able to sit on it. You saw more foul balls, higher pitch counts. So Joe Ryan, mixing that thing in, it makes that fastball play up. One of the many reasons that his fastball is so effective and more effective this year has been his ability to use that breaking ball, that slider especially. So early on here, good sign from Joe in looking stronger, looking like that guy that we saw the first month of the season.
Ryan McKenna will lead things off, taking ball 1. Six up, 6 down for Ryan. A liner to right. Kepler going back, and room to make the catch in the warning track, 1 away. And that'll bring up Arauz.
Another good fastball from Joe Ryan right there, riding in and up. A lot of horizontal movement on that pitch. Was able to get in just enough on McKenna.
Arauz takes strike 1. Mentioned the Orioles had a winning record in June, 14-12. And you think, well, all right, that's pretty good in that division. In that division, they lost 6.5 games to the Yankees. The Yankees continue to play such good baseball. The Yankees were 21-6. So yeah, 14-12 is good. But they lost 6.5 games.
Well, that's the hard part about playing in that division.
Right. That's hit to center. And Buxton comes in. 8 up, 8 down. On just 30 pitches, Joe Ryan's picked up 8 outs. That'll bring up Mateo. Orioles have done everything just a little bit better. They pitched a little bit better. They've scored runs at a greater frequency.
Doing some of the things that a young team you'd like to see them do, and it's been a long road back for them. They were so good 10 years ago, the early 2010s. Some of those teams with this division, we were talking about it, there's a chance that 4 teams, they might win 90 games. They might have 4 teams in that division win 90 games, and so very competitive in the AL East, but these guys do look like they're on their way back.
In there, a strike, 1-1. Oh, 1-2.
And that was a good slider right there. And so this is that spot. Against Mountcastle, he tried to throw another slider, tried to get him to chase. So now, see if he runs that fastball back up.
Off the plate.
And he went with the fastball. Jeffers wanted it up that kind of top outside corner. Elevated a little bit, and he just yanked it a hair.
35th pitch for Joe Ryan. Just missing down and away. Full count with Mullins on deck. And he missed. Number 9 batter Mateo. Ryan got ahead of him, but then lost him to a walk. That'll bring up Mullins with 2 out.
Yeah, head 1-2. Everything's set up. Shows you how fine the margins are here. Even a guy hitting 9th, hitting under 200, but big league hitters are tough to get out. They're not going to give you anything.
Mullins struck out his first time up. Teams have stolen 4 bases in 6 tries against Ryan. There have been 2 pickoffs.
And this is a spot that I don't you know, if I'm in the Orioles dugout, don't mind trying to steal. Worst case is you start the next inning with your leadoff hitter up.
Jeffers with the runner Mateo taking 1 hard stride toward second base. Almost came out of his crouch, but didn't, and was able to frame that pitch for a strike. And there he goes. Pitch fouled back, and it was an off-speed pitch. Orioles do a good job of stealing bases. They are 47 for 59.
Take a look at the jump. And he got very good jump. He would have had that base, but Mullins, if he sees a strike, he's trying to swing. So somewhat of a hit and run, kind of, but also you're trying to get into scoring position. If that's a breaking ball in the dirt or something like that, you're in easy, or you get that base stolen, you're in scoring position with a pretty good hitter at the plate. Joe Ryan's going to want to try to keep him close.
Off the plate now, 1-2. again, and the pitch hit to the gap in right center field. Kepler won't get there. He'll play it off the wall with the runner going. Mateo will come around third and score the tying run. A 2-out walk and a 2-out double, and it's one apiece.
And Joe Ryan got ahead of him there. Knew that Mateo was going to be running, and a changeup right there. You see the location, that pitch. Try to get that down. Try to get him to chase something out of the strike zone. You're still ahead in the count. So it's a pitcher's count, and he left that one up over the plate. Good swing from Cedric Mullins.
And now Austin Hayes with the go-ahead run at second base. Fouled away, a strike. Hayes hit a fly ball to Buxton in short center field, his first time up. Inside move, but no throw. To center. Buxton is there. The line drives, but the third out. First runner leads to the first run for Baltimore. It's one apiece. Manager has been ejected, and we don't know why. He came out to argue something with Ramon DeJesus, who we think threw him out, and now he's picking up his appeal with the crew chief.
Yeah, and he's spending more time pointing in his dugout. I feel like on the bases in the field, not much has happened that he would have to argue about. I think that the strike zone has been good so far in this game. So
and there was some gesture towards the Twins dugout, and I don't know whether Hyde was complaining that the home plate umpire DeJesus was deferring to the Twins dugout for some reason. I have no idea. We haven't had batters upset, but Brendan Hyde has been excused with the Orioles tying the game in the third inning. Now the Twins will bat, and it'll be Arise starting things off. He doubled and scored in the first. Arise takes outside a ball. Arise came into the game hitting .369 against right-handers, and he drilled a double against this particular right-hander off the fence in right center. There's a strike, 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2. Watkins wobbled his way through the first inning, giving up 3 hits, a walk, striking out 2 batters, but the third out was on the throw out at home plate, and then threw 6 pitches in a 1-2-3 second inning. 1-2 to Arise. Arise starting the night with a 12-point lead in the American League batting race. Fouled away.
you see all the pitches that Rushman went through there. The fastball away, fastball in, fastball up, slider away, slider in. All that to get to a cutter right here. And Luis Arise didn't like that one.
And call third strike. One down. That'll bring up Buxton in tonight's Bounty Quick stats. Max Kepler with 21 home runs. in 2019. Eddie Rosario had 20. Byron Buxton with 20 through June this year. And it seems odd to have that many home runs. And we talked about his 3-run home run against Watkins in Baltimore, but 20 home runs, 36 runs batted in. But then you remember most of the time, here's a ball lifted to center and it's playable for Mullins. Most of the time Buxton's been batting leadoff, and a lot of his home runs have been leadoff home runs.
Yeah, so batting at the top of the lineup, you just don't have the opportunities, and they like him up there for a variety of reasons. His ability to hit a home run, one is you get a 1-0 lead. Obviously the speed, you get a guy on base with his speed. I think if they batted him 3rd or 4th or 5th, whatever it would be, he would be up there. But RBIs are more just a product of opportunity than anything. So Byron impacts the game in enough other ways.
Off-speed pitch taken for a strike. One and one. Second time he's pitched up and in to Correa with a fastball.
Yeah, and you can see Watkins' fastball, even though at 90, 91, 92 miles an hour, a lot of vertical break on that pitch too. So that's that life, that carry. You can see the reaction from the hitters. It gets on you.
Fouled away 2-2. Twins had a great chance in the first inning. They loaded the bases with 1 out. Polanco struck out, and then Miranda came up with another 2-out bases loaded hit. Yesterday's hit drove in 3. Today's hit drove in 1. And Correa takes a called 3rd strike. And it's a 1-2-3 third. And we are tied after 3.
Get the first run on the board. A single to left field. Rice scores on the play. Almost was a 2 RBI. But Carlos Correa thrown out at home to end the inning. The Twins stay at 1. In the 3rd inning, Cedric Mullins then, he evens this one up with an RBI double to right field that scored Jorge Mateo. Once again, tied this one up at 1. And that is where we sit heading into the 4th, Dick.
So 1 apiece. Now Anthony Santander will lead off the 4th against Joe Ryan. Santander hit a fly ball to center's first time up. So yesterday's starter Chris Archer walked 6, 4 in a row, and that scored 1 run. Ryan issues 1 walk and comes around to score. Big pop up. It'll come down to Urshela. 1 down.
Well, that's just everything evening out, right? You don't give some up here, you give some up there, but it's all the timing of it. And that one there, that 2-out walk, seems like leadoff walks and 2-out walks are the ones that get you in the most trouble.
Mountcastle will bat. Ryan struck him out to lead off the 2nd inning. That's a fair ball and down the line past Urshela. Don't see many get between him and the line, but Mountcastle pulls into second with a double. And that'll bring up Adley Rutschman.
I think that was just a first pitch, little lazy breaking ball. Mountcastle rolled it over. 1 big hop and 1 more hop, and it's through. And Urshela playing off the line a little bit there, thinking that he might favor the hole versus the line. So, but that had a lot of topspin on it. So I think that's what had it kind of shoot through. I don't know if he had a play at first or not, but it kind of helped it shoot through the infield.
Rutschman with a ground ball to second his first time up. Up and away, ball one. Nearly 50% of the hits in June were for extra bases. And they have 2 already today. Now this one's popped up behind third. And Urshela retreating makes the play. 2 away. And that'll bring up Odor. Get a home run of a deal with the new Grand Slam plan. You'll enjoy 4 games for the price of 3 and receive great season ticket holder benefits. Plus, this is the good part. The benefits of this plan will carry right into next year. So learn more at twinsbaseball.com/season tickets. Odor with a fly to right his first time up. Upstairs, ball one.
And take a look at this last out, the pop up. This is going to be a key pitch for Joe Ryan, especially against left-handed pitchers or left-handed batters. He threw a first pitch one to him high and away. Being able to get that ball down. Cedric Mullins hit a double in the gap on a changeup that caught too much of the plate. So Joe Ryan with that changeup to left-handed batters, his fastball plays both ways. He can use his breaking ball early in the count to get ahead. The slider definitely a better pitch to right-handed batters. So that pitch, and that was a good one to Rutschman. He's going to need to continue to develop that pitch. That's going to be a key for him moving forward, for him to get the lefties off that fastball. Being able to commit to that pitch, throwing it with conviction and making sure that you keep it down, keep it away from the left-hander pitchers. But he did a nice job to Rutschman there.
Right off the end of the bat. So when I asked Joe about the changeup the other day, and he said, well, no, it's my 3rd best pitch, but it really does depend on whether it's a right-handed or a left-handed batter.
Well, yeah, and a great example is right there to Odor, a changeup, and you saw the swing right there off the end of the bat. He's way out front, so there's a variety of ways you can go now to try to get a swing and a miss or to get a bad swing again. But the main thing for me now, whether he tries to throw him another changeup or he's going to try to run a fastball. But Jeffers setting up outside, I would think the fastball would be, he'd want it in unless that's where Jeffers sets up if he's trying to elevate. But you get a guy leaning way out over the plate like that, then it opens up the inner half of the plate, it opens up the fastball, and is going to make it look that much faster.
Foul back. Still 1-2. Ryan, he hopes, on the verge of completing the 4th inning here with just a few more than 50 pitches. Twins would like to get some length. Bullpen pretty much cleaned out in that 5-game series in Cleveland. And missed down and in. 2-2. Since returning from the COVID list, Ryan has thrown 74, 101, and 102 pitches. And now 3-2. McKenna on deck. Fly ball, left center field. Coming in is Kirilloff, and he makes the catch to end the threat. Mountcastle's double is left the board, and we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, tied at 1. Sports North is brought to you by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities, and by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Absolutely gorgeous night downtown Minneapolis, and we trust the weather is held throughout Twins territory. If you're near a lake, get out on it. Winds aren't supposed to be too bad this weekend, I don't think. Here's Kepler to lead off the Twins' fourth. Outside, ball one.
I was told that the wind is always blowing out at the baseball field, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. No matter which way the flags are going, the ball's always going to get blown out.
And when I've worked with Justin Morneau, he's told me just the opposite. The wind's always blowing in on the hitters. 1-1 to Kepler. Drew a walk when the Twins got their run in the first inning.
No, what hitters will say is that even if the flags are blowing out, the wind is swirling. So it may look like it's blowing out right there, but everywhere else it's blowing in.
See what the wind does to this one. Not enough. Hayes with the catch, one away, and now Watkins, who looked like he wasn't going to be long for this night, has retired 7 in a row, and quickly. He hasn't thrown 50 pitches yet. And here is Polanco with the bases loaded and 1 out. Watkins struck him out. In there, strike one. $50 pitches, 31 strikes. Chased by Arauz, but it's out of play. Oh, 0-2 to the Twins' second baseman. One and two. Twins split the 4 games with Baltimore in Baltimore. Just missed. Very close. 2-2.
Now we've seen Ramon DeJesus do a nice job behind the plate, and Jorge's happy about that one, I think. But that's a pitch. That's the toughest pitch to get called.
Deep to the left field corner, chased by McKenna, and he's there to make a foul ball catch, 2 away.
Nice catch by McKenna. We saw him earlier in the game make his way over to the wall there, and not a lot of foul ground at target field, so he's got that arm out, making sure that he's not getting too close, but just enough room.
Now Miranda, who drove in the first inning run with a ground ball single to left. Correa was thrown out at home plate on the play. McKenna made a really nice aggressive move on the base hit, charged it, came up with a perfect one-hop throw to end the inning. And it was a big hit for the Twins, both tonight and last night in the third inning, because they had the bases loaded but 2 out. And Miranda drove his double to the gap to drive in 3 runs. Unfortunately, the only 3 runs the Twins would score. 2-0.
No, but for a young guy like this, the adjustments that we've seen him made, what he's done over the last 30 games, and an at bat like that one yesterday against a really good pitcher, a Cy Young winner, Shane Bieber, and then tonight in a pressure situation, it's not easy for young guys
2-1
to be able to contain themselves, to be able to slow the game down, to be able to look for a pitch in a zone and put a good swing on it. A lot of young guys getting antsy up at the plate, but Jose Miranda's he made some really nice adjustments.
Big pop-up way up in the air near the mound, and Mateo makes the catch. 3 straight 1-2-3 innings for Spencer Watkins. upset enough to get tossed out, or was tossed out. Maybe that's what caused him to be upset. At any rate, he tried to calm everybody down in the dugout. We have a 1-1 game, and the bottom third of the lineup, starting with Ryan McKenna, will face Joe Ryan, who's given up just 2 hits. They've both been doubles, but the first one came after a 2-out walk, and that's how the Orioles got their run. Big swing and miss.
Joe Ryan, the coming back from COVID and his first start back, good velocity early, kind of waned. The last couple hasn't been up there. Something to keep an eye on as the game moves on.
Fouled, I believe, off the home plate umpire Ramon DeJesus.
As he tries to build back up, and it's not as much the velocity, and that's not how they'll determine in the dugout when Joe Ryan is done. But so far in this inning, everything still looks good, and pitch count's in good shape.
On the outside edge, we're close to it. He got the call, 1 away. In his 6th inning outing against Cleveland, that was at home on the 21st. First 3 innings were a little shaky, but the second 3 innings were much better, and that was an encouraging sign.
Yeah, and I think as you try to build strength, obviously the best thing would be to maintain throughout the game, but to see a guy get stronger, it's good right there. McKenna doesn't like that one, but a good 0-2 pitch from Joe Ryan, maybe a hair outside, but it's a benefit you get when you're around the strike zone, you're throwing strikes, working ahead.
Strike 1 to Arauz.
Getting strike 1 and 72% strikes so far tonight, so that's the benefit. You'll get calls if you're able to be around the strike zone. Umpires will be a little bit more lenient with you.
Breaking ball gets the lefty to swing over the top. Oh, 0-2 to Arauz. And again with the breaking ball. A couple of strikeouts here in the 5th inning for Joe Ryan.
Yeah, and that was a really good sequence. That entire at bat, and that Odor last inning, he got him 0-2. He tried to throw a fastball up. He threw it down the middle, and it kind of changes the complexion of the entire at bat. And you saw an 0-2 there, a fastball up above the strike zone. It's called changing the eye line. So you're getting that pitcher to see something up, or that hitter to see something up. He got him to swing at a breaking ball down in the dirt. He's throwing breaking balls for strikes tonight, so the hitters have to respect that. And so he changes his eye line. He goes up, and then he's able to throw that breaking ball down, get Arauz to swing over the top.
Here is Mateo, drew the 2-out walk and scored the Baltimore run in the 3rd. Swinging a foul, 1 strike. Two strikes. Hanging in there on that off-speed pitch, got a piece of it.
Yeah, and typically guys at the bottom lineup's a little bit more willing to chase. So 0-2, that probably is a pitch that he wants out of the strike zone. Caught a little too much, but I would imagine a pitch here you want to try to make him chase something.
Didn't chase the fastball.
But that's another one. You see where Jeffers goes. He drifts outside. He puts his glove way up. He's not trying to throw that for a strike. He could probably throw one more over the plate. He could go back to the breaking ball. Mateo's committed to swing. He's not. I mean, Ryan did walk him, but guys at the bottom of the order have definitely less of a penchant to draw walks. So those are guys that you want to try to expand. They're usually down there because they have trouble hitting certain pitches.
There it is. Buzz the fastball on the outside edge. He struck out the side of the 5th inning. A special look now at the terminal list, starring Chris Pratt, now streaming on Prime Video. Game already. You can get out and play with the Minnesota Lottery. Say I'm in, and scan the QR code for a chance to join the Minnesota Lottery's Winner's Circle and win $50 in scratch tickets. Katie Storm, Glenn Perkins, Dick Bramer here at Target Field. A beautiful night in a 1-1 game. Alex Kirilloff will lead off the Twins' 5th, and he takes ball 1 low. Kirilloff with a bouncer to the shortstop on the right side of the infield. Then it'll be Urshela and Jeffers. Sharply hit, but into the shift. And Odor waits and throws him out from right field. And now Urshela. Between innings, Ryan Jeffers told Rocco Baldelli something. So Sanchez is going to hit next for Jeffers, and it was Sanchez who came out of the game yesterday due to an injury. So we're not sure what's up with Jeffers, but we'll try to get some clarity on that. Right center field, and over a few steps Hayes is there to make the catch. So Gary Sanchez will replace Jeffers behind the plate.
Well, and we saw Gary Sanchez yesterday ground out in every at bat, and not that you need to haul down the line as quick as you can every time, but he wasn't. He's been a guy that typically he'll move a little bit, but he was running pretty gingerly yesterday down the line. Then he did come out of the game, so not 100% either. So we'll see.
I thought the one foul tip hit the home plate umpire. It may have hit Jeffers, and he took a beating, you know, in the game the other night. There's a strike to Sanchez.
Yeah, and he did a nice job with Joe Ryan, but Gary Sanchez got experience as well, so hopefully they'll be able to make that seamless.
Hit to right field, and Hayes on the grass makes the catch. 4 straight 1-2-3 innings for Spencer Watkins. We are still tied at 1.
That is where, of course, the Lynx play, and also the Minnesota Timberwolves NBA free agency period opened yesterday, and things have gotten wild on the trade front for Minnesota. This just announced today by reports. Rudy Gobert has been acquired to be a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange going to the Jazz. Malik Beasley, an expert three-point shooter for the for the Wolves this season. Patrick Beverley, Jared Vanderbilt, Leandro Bolmaro, and Walker Kessler, who is just a first-round pick for Minnesota recently, and of course 4 first-round picks. So a lot going on as always during this free agency frenzy, but some big news for the Timberwolves, guys.
Yeah, and we'll get news on Ryan Jeffers as to why he had to leave the game. Gary Sanchez doing the catching as we move to the 6th inning. Each team will send their first 3 hitters up in the 6th inning, and for Baltimore that's Mullins, Hayes, and Santander. Mullins with a double that drove in a run, and he takes upstairs, ball 1.
And we'll take a look at this foul tip, and on Wednesday night Jeffers got beat up pretty good behind the plate, so we'll hope he's okay. That one there does not look good. You never want to see a guy leave a game after taking a foul tip, but the good thing is, I think, with Sanchez behind the plate now, the catchers are usually in the meeting with the starting pitcher together, so they should be on the same page.
2-1.
And Sanchez having to hit to end last inning, so him and Joe Ryan didn't have a ton of time to chat in between innings, but I would assume that these guys will find their way pretty quickly here.
High fly to short right. Kepler comes in a couple of steps. One away. Ryan with 16 outs on 71 pitches, and now he'll pitch to Austin Hayes. Twins beginning the Pete Mackey era as the pitching coach for the Twins. Wes Johnson leaving for Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge. Center field, and Buxton comes in a couple of steps, now sprinting in, and he'll get there for out number 2. The news of Wes Johnson's departure stunned everybody inside the Twins organization and around baseball. Even an LSU guy like Ben McDonald said he couldn't believe it, that a major league pitching coach would leave his team, a first place team, in the middle of a season to take a college job.
Yeah, I don't think there's much precedent for that, and I'm sure Ben McDonald, I'm guessing he's still a fan of the Tigers, so probably happy to get a guy with the stature of Wes Johnson down there. Not that that program needs any help, but
I was asking Ben about how the landscape in college athletics has changed so much. The portals that players can hop from one school to the next, and that, you know, you think of it for basketball and football and all that, but it's for baseball too. And then you have the whole NIL, the name, image, likeness. There's money involved now, and it's always been a big business. College sports have, but it's even more so now.
Yeah, there's a lot of money, and I mean, you're seeing what they're doing with the conferences. The Big Ten adding teams, they're making these super conferences, and it's all driven by TV. It's all driven by money. So that money has gone through the roof.
75th pitch is fouled back, still 0-2.
I think I saw it took Ohio State's football team has $13 million worth of NILs for those guys. So. I think that there's always been money. Now it's just, I guess, legalized, if you will. A lot of money to put a college football team together.
It bounces in, 1-2. So we'll see whether there's a difference in terms of the pitching success of this baseball team. Whether it's negligible, whether it's substantial, it will be different.
Well, I would say so far so good. The results for Mackey. Joe Ryan out there in the 6th inning with 2 outs, 1 run allowed, only 2 hits, so no complaints yet. Joe Ryan's made it pretty easy on that man right there.
To center and deep. Buxton going back on the grass. 6 really good innings for Joe Ryan, maybe a 7th. We're tied at 1. National Bank on a night when the Twins needed their starter to pitch deep into the ball game. Joe Ryan did.
So far so good for Joe Ryan. 6 innings. He's pounded the strike zone. He's been efficient. He's gotten ahead 15 out of 21 first pitch strikes, 78 pitches, 57 strikes, all 4 pitches working tonight for Joe Ryan, in the zone, out of the zone. Struck out the side in the 5th inning. Pretty good night so far for that young man.
First inning, it looked like the Twins were ready to knock Spencer Watkins out of the game. He hasn't given up a base runner since, retiring 12 straight since Correa was thrown out at the plate to end the first inning. Strike 1 and strike 2.
And that's something that he's done better too. That first inning, just the 1 walk, but Luis Arraez got a pitch in the strike zone. He's done a really nice job of mixing pitches. He's been on the corner. That cutter, been really impressed with his cutter as much as anything tonight. The slider is what jumped out at me on the stats page, but
breaking ball bounced foul.
His ability to use that cutter to both sides of the plate, and not an overpowering fastball, but he's picked really good times. He's hit spots, got a couple strikeouts looking with that as well. So they made some adjustments after that first inning, there's no question.
Twins with 3 hits. They all came in the first inning. 0-2 to Arise. Now to left. McKenna makes a tremendous diving catch. Ryan McKenna. A fair ball catch, taking extra bases away from Luis Arise. And we'll see if McKenna is okay.
I think that would have been a sure double from Luis Arise, and they've got him shaded that way. They know he likes to hit the ball over there, but great jump, McKenna. We've seen him make a couple nice catches in the outfield, made a really nice throw. Full extension right there, taking the double away from Luis, maybe a triple if it settles in the corner, but just a fly out.
There's Buxton. 13 in a row set down by the Baltimore right-hander. Popped up. Foul ball. And out of play. Buxton with a strikeout in the first and a fly ball to center in the third. A decent crowd on hand here tonight. They haven't had a whole lot to cheer about. See if Buxton can change that. Foul, but hit a long way, 2 strikes.
A little overexcited. He got a hanging slider and couldn't quite stay back. But Byron Buxton, those 20 home runs, 11 of them have given the Twins a lead. So this is a moment that he likes to step up.
Fastball up. The pitch that struck him out in the first inning. Two and 2. Game number 80 for the Twins. Looking for win number 44. Upstairs and got strike 3. 2 down. Bring up Correa.
Another cutter there from Spencer Watkins. See that tight spin. That location, Byron swinging under that. Has some slider looking spin, so that might be something where they see that and think it's going to have a little bit more depth, and then it kind of just does a right-handed, left-handed turn.
Ball 1 in the dirt to Correa. One and 1. 29 pitches in the first inning, and no more than 12 since. And Perez, one of their 3 lefties, warming up 1 and 2. Pulled foul. Watkins' season high in pitches thrown is 81.
That's 77 right now, so see if they would let him go beyond this.
Big pop up. It's a foul ball and in the seats. Correa singled his first time up, was thrown out at the plate to end the first inning, and the Twins have not had a base runner since. And a bullet hit right at Arias. 15 straight set down by Spencer Watkins in a 1-1 game.
story of the game. Jose Miranda got the scoring started in the first inning with a single to left field. 7 hits now in his last 6 games. Correa almost makes it 2, but gunned out at home to end the inning. In the third is where the Orioles evened it up with the helps of their center fielder, Cedric Mullins. He has himself an RBI double, drives in Jorge Mateo, ties it up at 1 apiece. Joe Ryan continuing to improve in each outing since returning from the COVID list. He has been solid tonight. 5 strikeouts, permitting only 1 walk and giving up 1 run through 6 solid innings. He's back out on the mound. Spencer Watkins, we'll see if he's back out there. Retired 15 straight, guys. Pretty impressive night for both of tonight's pitchers.
Absolutely. Now Joe Ryan's first pitch of the 7th inning goes to the backstop, ball 1. Mountcastle, Rutschman, and Odor, the middle of the Baltimore lineup, to face Ryan. Orioles have a pair of doubles. Mountcastle got one with 1 out in the 4th.
Yeah, Mountcastle rolled over a first pitch breaking ball. Joe Ryan there.
Well, we got a pitch comm issue. And Sanchez, I think, said, "We'll just use my fingers and hope nobody gets to second base."
That's considered old school now.
High fly left field. Kirilloff. In its own way, a different type of digital technology, right?
Yeah.
We're back after this from Furniture Mart. And home plate umpire Ramon DeJesus part of this for some reason.
Got some hair caught in there or something.
Is that what it was?
I don't know. He's that kind of flow. Could happen.
Well, he's got it out in the 7th inning, and whatever the issue was seems to be taken care of. Adley Rutschman will bat. First pitch, fastball for strike 1. Rutschman with a ground ball to second and a pop up to third. Here's another pop up near the Baltimore dugout. And I thought Ryan was going to catch that and put up 5 fingers again. You remember that?
Yeah.
Any pitcher who gets a foul pop gets $100 from the other starting pitchers. Now, maybe the price has come down because at the time the Twins had a 6-man rotation, so there were 5 other starters.
Well, inflation's going to make it go up a little bit, so there's that. But
then you got the price of gas you got to deal with. It's not worth nearly as much as it was in April.
Maybe the other 4 guys got to chip in 125 now.
2 strikes to Rutschman. One and 2.
Joe Ryan gone to that curveball a couple times now later in the game to the left-handed hitters. Trying to get a swing. Good location on it, which is key.
Got him with a fastball. A little bit low, Rutschman is saying to home plate umpire Ramon DeJesus. 2 down. And that'll bring up Odor.
Yeah, tip to Gary Sanchez on this one right there. That's a nice job receiving. You see how low he gets behind home plate. You can do that when there's nobody on base. Does a good job catching that one, bringing it up.
Saw him in spring training during bullpen sessions working very hard on that, where the glove is actually low. There isn't so much a target. The glove is low and then you receive the ball with an upward motion, and that helps you get some extra strikes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole concept on the side of the zone. You try to start out a little bit, make it look like you're catching that thing in the zone.
Did you like the target that Joe Mauer gave you, or whoever your catcher was, but did you want the target early?
Yeah, so Joe was a big open target, yeah, wide open. Kurt Suzuki a little bit later, more like Gary, where he'd kind of just have his glove in a spot. So I didn't look at that much, but I did like when I would try to throw a fastball up, Joe would give me like a big wide open glove.
Big fly foul down the right field line and in the seats. Two and two to Odor. Well, Brian's got a nice little run going here now of 10 straight batters retired.
So this is right here. You see Gary flash that glove, so that gives Joe something to look at, and then Gary's going to drop that glove, bring it back up to frame it just
92
like
in
that.
the corner. A 1-2-3 seventh, but it's still a 1-1 game. Was actually a strike.
No, and I think he's got a legitimate beef there. That's a pitch up out of the strike zone, but Gary Sanchez, great job receiving. Like I said, you're around the strike zone, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. Rougned Odor right there. Whatever Brandon Hyde did to get kicked out, it wasn't as bad as what Rougned Odor did right there, because you talk about showing up and out. Dropping your helmet on the plate, setting your stuff down at his feet. That's a bad look.
The Orioles will bring Perez in. One of their three left-handed relievers with Kepler, Polanco, and Miranda due up. 6 good innings for Spencer Watkins, 5 of them outstanding innings. 1-2-3 inning after 1-2-3 inning, 5 in a row. And we're still tied at 1. Kepler takes a strike. Kepler hitting .254 against lefties. A little bit better than his average against righties. Seemed like he's faced too many lately, but we'll see what he can do here in an 0-2 hole.
Yeah, Perez, good fastball, good slider we saw right there. You got good stuff. Max seeing lefties well this year.
Off the plate. 1-2. The Twins have Caleb Thielbar getting loose. Joe Ryan's night is done. See if the Twins can get him a run or more here, pick up a win. Second hop skips to the backhand side of Mateo, and Kepler thrown out, 1 away. And now Jorge Polanco. Polanco with a strikeout in the first and a foul out in the fourth. Not much offense for either team. A pair of doubles for the Orioles, 3 hits for the Twins, all coming in the very first inning. Driven foul, 1 strike. Felix Bautista. We're going to show you some names and we're going to show you some numbers, and you'll be impressed with the Oriole arms coming out of their bullpen. They've really been pretty good. Outside, 1-1.
Oh yeah, we've seen his slider. You see 97 from the left side, and velocity up around the game, but from the left side, very good velocity. That Yankee or that Oriole bullpen, big part of their month of success.
On strike. past Rushman to the backstop 2-2. Again, Polanco telling me today that his back issues really impacted him hitting from this side of the plate, but everything seems to have quieted down.
Yeah, the way he's swung the bat since he's come back. Mentioned it earlier, a home run and a single from the right side. And also the left side, he's put good swings on the ball. He doesn't look like a guy that missed time with a back injury, which is a good sign.
Caught by the first baseman, Mountcastle. Well, the Twins not hitting much, but hitting in some tough luck too. Rise nearly got a double down the left field line to start the sixth. Correa hit a 108-mile-per-hour missile for an out to end the inning, and now this soft line drive hit right to the first baseman.
Yeah, and well positioned and not hit hard, but positioning right there is everything, and they got him in the right spot.
Here's Miranda, drove in the Twins run with a single in the first, and he takes ball one. So the last 4 runs the Twins have scored going back to Cleveland have all been driven in by this guy. Beaten foul, 1-1. Griffin Jacks also getting loose now.
And that would be a situation if the Twins score a run or hit a home run, whatever. If they get it, if they take a lead, I think Rocco would go to Griffin Jackson. If this game stays tied, it'd be Caleb Thielbar.
1-1. 1-2. 98. It looks like he's got some sink to it too.
Yeah, it's got some good sink. Good arm side run as well. Plus movement and plus velocity.
One and 2 to Miranda with 2 down in the Twins' 7th. Backhanded by Arias. Low throw. Nice pick at first by Mountcastle. Twins have gone down 1, 2, 3 for 6 innings in a row. Google Cloud and Joe Ryan's best outing since he came off the COVID list.
Yeah, no question. 7 innings tonight, just 2 hits allowed, those 7 strikeouts. 4 on that 4-seam fastball, kind of all over the place, all over, a little bit up, a little bit down. Couple good sliders, 1 good changeup, got a swing and a miss on a strikeout, and they're working on getting that fastball usage down. They did that tonight. Changeup, actually, with those left-handed batters, he was able to use that to effectiveness tonight, so that's a good sign. I had mentioned earlier in the game that that's going to be a big key for him against left-handed batters. He likes his slider. The fastball is a good pitch, but that changeup to the lefties, it was effective tonight. He used that more than he has, or as much as I've seen him use it, but certainly above his season average tonight.
McKenna, Arauz, and Mateo to face Caleb Thielbar here in the 8th inning. McKenna with a fly to right and a strikeout. Arauz with a fly to center and a strikeout. Mateo with a walk and a strikeout so far tonight. Hit to left, chased by Kirilloff. He won't get there, and it'll be an extra base hit to start the 8th inning, and it'll be a double, and that will be it. McKenna, great athlete. We saw his range in left field, and he looked like he was interested in maybe going for an extra base, but it's a double to start the 8th.
Yeah, and kind of a end of the bat. It's a 4-seam fastball. He actually is way out front of that, hits it off the end of the bat, but gets it down the line enough. Kirilloff shaded a little bit more towards center field, and that ball down in the corner.
Here's light hitting Jonathan Arauz. Arauz hitting low 100s. And Pete Mackey making his first trip to the mound, and that might be as much strategy as anything else.
Yeah, and I think Trey Mancini's going to pinch hit here, so they're just running out and going over this scouting report. They had everything figured out for Orioles, but the pinch hitter coming in, you got to just make sure everybody's on the same page.
Mancini having another good year, hitting .280. 7 homers, 30 runs batted in. Does have 59 strikeouts and 261 at bats. So the go-ahead run at second, nobody out. In there, strike one.
That's a good breaking ball from Thielbar. He's had good velocity this year, that breaking ball. He's got a really good feel for when to add and subtract velocity from that. That one's 72 miles an hour on the slower end of things. Not a surprise early in the count when you're trying to get ahead. He'll try to throw it maybe a little bit harder if he's trying to get a swing and a miss, bounce it to get a guy to swing over it.
One strike to Mancini. Behind first, but foul. Don't know what Mancini's future is with Baltimore. I would imagine there would be teams interested in getting him before the trade deadline. I told you about Mancini's strikeouts, and that's what Caleb Thielbar is shooting for here. Ahead 0-2. Just got word that Ryan Jeffers left the game today with a right thumb contusion.
That's probably about as good a news as they could have gotten on that.
Pete Mackey on the phone. Just missed inside. 1-2. Of course, Thielbar has to face Mancini and Mateo. And will probably face Mullins. 1-2. 2-2. Chop foul.
Good pitch from Thielbar there. He's trying to either get a strikeout or if he can get Mancini to hit a ground ball, he'd want it to be on the left side to try to keep McKenna at second base. Ideally, Thielbar would try to throw something here to get that strikeout. A breaking ball there down, he could elevate. He could get the ball to the top of the strike zone.
Foul back. Rocco Baldelli telling us before the game today that Emilio Pagan's going to be put into some lower leverage situations, which of course then creates a bit of a vacuum. Who's going to fill that spot? And he mentioned Thielbar, and that's kind of where he's at right now. Tie ball game in the 8th inning.
Yeah, this is certainly a higher leverage situation.
Ground ball right side, scooped up by Polanco. He makes the play with McKenna going to third. So Thielbar didn't get the strikeout. It's a productive out for Mancini. And now Mateo will bat with the go-ahead run at third. Tonight's Coors Light beating the pressure. Ryan McKenna with a great throw, a great catch, and now a leadoff double in the 8th.
Yeah, he's had himself a nice game. This diving catch right here saved at least a double. If that ball gets by him, Rise might find his way to third base. And the double now, and he's standing on third base as well.
Infield in, swung on and missed. .238 at bats and 83 strikeouts. Basically a strikeout every 3 at bats. Ryan struck him out looking in the 5th. Polanco will come home, and the throw is into the runner, and Sanchez can't find the ball. It was an off-balance throw, and the Orioles will take the lead. And a good throw might have gotten the runner, but it would have been a tag play and it would have been close.
Yeah, it was going to be a really close play, and a lot of times, especially to those middle infielders, that ball's got to be hit basically right at you, and that ball not hit super hard either. Jammed him, so you see Polanco there. He's got to go a couple steps to his left. He's got to turn his body all the way around. A throw right on the money probably gets him right there, but it's a tough play to make. And you're going that way, and you see here where he's got to spin back around, but it's a play I think that Jorge Polanco expects himself to make.
Runner at second. One down. Air charge to Polanco on the throw. Pitch com issue here with that runner now at second base. It was working when McKenna was at second, and that's exactly what the issue is, I guess. Sanchez can't communicate with the pitch com to Thielbar. Ryan had an issue with it too, it appeared.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Orioles in front for the first time. Twins got a run in the first. Orioles answered with one in the third. Now a leadoff double has led to at least one in the 8th. One strike to Mullins. Austin Hayes, a right-handed batter, due next. Orioles had a lineup today with 2 switch hitters, Santander and Rutschman, and Mullins used to be one, but he gave up right-handed hitting a couple of years ago, and it seems to be one of the reasons he's emerged as a pretty good hitter.
Well, we'll see if Thielbar can take advantage of that matchup. Got ahead 0-1 here, the breaking ball, and it's another situation where you just want to get this hitter out. You don't really have to worry if he gets to third.
Popped up right side. That should be out number 2 into the twilight. And Kirilloff, or rather Miranda, with a fair ball catch. 2 down. And we'll see if Rocco Baldelli comes out here to make the change. Manaea has been the pitcher warming up, and it will be Manaea coming in. Thielbar gave up the double, and because of the way the play was played out in the Mateo at bat, I'm guessing it'll be an earned run. And there's a runner at second. 2 down for Manaea, just added to the roster at the expense of Thornburg, trying to keep this a 2-1 game.
That's been some mayhem. Brandon Hyde, it seems, maybe wasn't too happy about some of the things going on, arguing balls and strikes, and that he got himself tossed. And then Rougned Odor, he struck out looking, and somehow this didn't get him kicked out. Dropped his stuff there, throws his gloves at the feet of the umpire.
I think they came pretty close right there.
Yeah, I think he gave him one last warning. Ramon de Jesus showed some patience with Rougned Odor.
Well, you got to be careful. I mean, the Orioles, like every other team, you got 4 bench players, right? But if they had to make one move there for Odor, then maybe Mancini doesn't pinch hit in the 8th inning. He got the job done, advanced the runner, led to the go-ahead run, and now here's Hayes. Check swing, ball 1.
Well, and getting kicked out of a game, it doesn't really get you anywhere. So just puts your team in more of a hole.
Right.
So you know, it's those things do have a domino effect.
Oddly enough, that's how manager Tom Kelly felt about it too. He, in his entire career, 2 ejections.
Well, it's not going to change the call.
Right.
And the umpire, if anything, they're probably going to swing back the other way and say, fine, you want to be in my ear all day.
Just outside. 2-0. Scoreboard here has 1-1, but I believe our screen is correct at 2-0. Fly ball, right field corner. Looks like it's headed for the seats. Manaea has been back and forth over the last year and a half. And with Thornburg pitching the end of the ball game yesterday, the Twins needed a fresh arm.
Well, I think somebody in this situation here, the Orioles at this time would only have 4 outs left, but they need a guy that can give them some length. And Manaea probably the best guy down there to be able to do that.
Count, we're told, is 1-2, and now 2-2. Backstop. Well, that will get Mateo to third base with a full count to the batter. And Santander on deck.
Changeup that he just held on to a little bit too long.
Full count with 2 down. Big pop up. And Urshela near the tarp ends the inning. The Orioles get one to take a 2-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Did to the Twins for most of the last week and a half. Come back late and win one. You can join the LGBTQ plus community, friends, family, and organizations to celebrate Pride Night, presented by Target at Target Field. Your purchase of this special ticket package for the July 15th game includes an exclusive Minnesota Twins Pride Night tank top. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/pride. Perez still in there. Tyler Nevin now is in at third base. And Perez in there because the lefty Kirilloff will lead things off. Then Urshela and Sanchez. Outside, ball 1. As Kirilloff has done what he can to spark this lineup, has hit the ball really well since his latest recall. He has struggled against lefties, hitting just .071 against lefties. Slow dribbler, and right in front of Kirilloff, Mountcastle makes the play, 1 away. And Gonzalez is going to come out. The acting manager is going to come out and make the pitching change to bring in a right-hander. Freddie Gonzalez, former Major League manager with the Braves, coming out to make a pitching change. Twins have not had a base runner since the first inning. We'll try to get something going against Felix Bautista. He's a big man. He throws hard. He's got really good numbers this year.
Yeah, throws very hard, 98, 99 miles an hour. He's got a good split finger and also a slider. See what he's done this year. 6'5", so imposing figure on the mound for Gio Urshela.
Signed by the Marlins. Minor league free agent signee for the Orioles, but that was 6 years ago. Hasn't really been an innings eater. Did start for a while in the minor leagues, but he's been awfully effective so far this year. Urshela with a line out to center and a fly ball to right. 100 off the plate, call to strike.
Yeah, that velocity with above average life carry, coming from pretty close to home plate, tough to hit.
Down and in. 1-1.
Urshela coming in at 100 miles an hour at your knees. Good job getting out of the way.
Checked his swing. No, 2-1. Edwin Moscoso is the first base umpire. So 3 pitches, all of them 100 miles per hour. And then a knee buckled breaking ball for strike 2.
Yeah, it's where you, if you can get a fastball in the zone, you gear up, try to hit that if he throws one, because then he comes at you with 87 miles an hour like that. You see what Urshela did there, buckle a little bit, weak knees.
And another breaking ball, swinging strike 3, 2 down. 20 straight batters have been retired. Twins started the ballgame double, strikeout, single, walk, strikeout, single, and have not had a man reach base since. Here's Gary Sanchez. Second plate appearance for Sanchez. Coming in for Ryan Jeffers, who has a right thumb contusion that took him out of the game. Sanchez with that leg kick. Timed the 100-mile-per-hour fastball, but missed it.
Yeah, just missed it. But that's, I mean, that's the approach right there. I love that from Gary Sanchez. They need to score a run. There's 2 outs. They've only got 4 outs left, so it's a perfect time. You get that pitch right where he was looking for it. You give it a rip. Try to hit that over the fence.
Fans who haven't had much to cheer about are starting a Gary chant. Down and away. Jorge Lopez, the de facto closer for the Orioles. Quite a reclamation project by Baltimore this year. Up and in, 2-1. Down the middle, strike 2.
so hard to react to, and that first fastball, Gary was right on it, and that's the one you start getting into these counts, and he's got the slider, he's got the split finger, and then he comes back, paints 100 on the corner.
And the breaking ball gets the strikeout of Sanchez. The bullpen's been perfect for the Orioles, and they lead by 1. But the Twins haven't done anything with the bat since the first inning. I mean, nothing. Haven't had a base runner.
No, in that first inning, they had every opportunity, and Carlos Correa got thrown at home on a Jose Miranda single, and then since then, a combination of Spencer Watkins and Cionel Perez, Felix Bautista have shut them down.
Manaea will pitch to Santander, Mountcastle, and Rutschman. Each team with just 3 hits. Twins have committed the only error, but it really didn't impact the play, we don't think, because we think McKenna would have scored anyway on a good throw by Polanco. And Manaea went home with it anyway, even though time had been called.
Sometimes you see guys just fired to the backstop there. Just launch it wherever you want and start over. It's hard to stop yourself once you get started. I've been in that situation.
1-1. Again, the Orioles are not the Orioles of a year ago. Last year at this time, they were 27-54. Winning 1 of every 3 games. And for the last 2 months, they played .500 baseball. They've won series against some good teams. Twins were hoping for a better outcome than a 2-1 game through 8 innings. They'll have some work to do in the 9th. Another foul back.
Well, and you can see this team that they've taken advantage of the couple opportunities that they've had. They got a 2-out walk. Cedric Mullins hits a double. They get a double. They end up moving him over, productive out, get him in on a fielder's choice. So
chopped up the line foul.
And you couple that with good starting pitching. They got a good start tonight, and we've talked about their bullpen. They've got arms out there, the 2 we've seen tonight. And if we do see Lopez in the 9th, it's pretty good bullpen arms, so you can see where this team is headed.
That's to left. Kirilloff with a play. 1 down. So that's the first out of the 9th inning. Twins will have the top of their lineup due up in the bottom of the 9th. It'll probably be against Lopez. Mountcastle will bat. And 94 gets a swing and a miss. Just never got the sense in the month of June that the Twins were playing as well as they did in April and May. Something was keeping them from putting together any kind of a winning streak. The bullpen toward the end of the month was a big factor.
Well, and it was just, it's the overall consistency. You'd have some runs scored in one game, and then the offense would go away. You'd score some runs early, the bullpen would give them up late. You'd get some good starts, but so it's kind of the starting pitching, the bullpen, the offense never really got going all at the same time, and so it was. That makes it hard to sustain a winning streak, and they play good from here, here and there, but consistent baseball. I mean, it starts with the starting rotation, and that's been the good sign over the last week. Even though those games in Cleveland didn't go the way they wanted to, getting good starting pitching, it gives you a chance, and that's the number one. That's the most important thing, and you can work from there. Maybe you get the offense going. The bullpen has done a good job tonight.
Hot ground ball from Mountcastle. He's got a base hit. So the Orioles have 4 hits, and Mountcastle has 2 of them.
It's a fastball, and with the way shifting is now, that's actually not in a bad location. You don't see a lot of base hits, balls hit right there that are hits anymore. Usually they've got them shifted, but having to play Mountcastle pretty straight up, it's an advantage for the hitter.
Adley Rutschman, the hitter. A strike. You know, we've seen Manaea do this before. 94-mile-per-hour fastball, little breaking ball. It's kind of shuttled back and forth between St. Paul's roster and the Twins roster. For him to go back to St. Paul, he has to clear waivers, and he's done that a couple times, I think, to stay in the Twins organization.
Yeah, and the more times, I mean, the more times you come up and have success, or if you pitch well, you're on that shuttle. Eventually, some other team might take notice, or if there's another team that's looking for an arm, that hey, we just played 5 games in 4 days, we need an arm. So you risk that every time, but they need somebody that can give them innings, and in a game like this tonight, they still don't have a full bullpen from the last couple days in Cleveland. So Manaea is asked to get some outs, probably in a game that typically he wouldn't.
Tap foul.
Be in, but he does seem to work his way through games pretty good. I've liked his stuff the times that I've seen him pitch.
Runner goes, and the pitch tapped to the right side, and Miranda to the bag. That's out number 2, and Mountcastle gaining second base. And now Odor.
Jose Miranda over there holding the runner. He sees that ball. He knows he's got to get it. Make a quick play, and he's learning over there. We saw him earlier in the game take one step at a ball, get back over to first base, make a nice play. So with reps, I think between him, Kirilloff, they've got options where they can move guys around left-handed, right-handed.
Odor takes outside a ball. Given where Polanco was in the shift, I'm not so sure that if he had not gotten to that ball aggressively, and whether they would have gotten the out, because Rushman looks like he runs pretty well. 1-1.
Yeah, an alert heads-up play, and both of those guys I just mentioned, Miranda and Kirilloff, they've hit their way into the lineup. So with Miranda, if he's going to play as much as they need his bat in the lineup, he's going to have to do a good job over there, and he's trending in that direction. But the bat, there's no question that the bat plays. So they find a position for a guy, or they'll work with him. They'll get him good over there, and you just keep hitting.
And an off-speed pitch gets a swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch in a good spot.
Yeah, good changeup, a 2-1. Hitters count and turned it over nice. Got it with a swing ahead and over the top of it.
Trying to get us to the bottom of the 9th in a 2-1 ball game. That'll work. Manaea does his job. Can the Twins hitters do theirs? Trying for their 4th walk-off win of the year. Down a run, bottom of the 9th. It'll be a rise. Buxton and Correa trying to get something done against Jorge Lopez, who's bounced around. Been with the Orioles for 3 years now, but it's really come together for him now that he's been made a full-time reliever.
Yeah, uptick in velocity across the board. The fastball all the way up, upper 90s. Movement, every pitch, above average horizontal, vertical movement. He's got everything working, total package. He'll throw 5 different pitches.
3 years with the Brewers, couple years, 3 years with Kansas City, now in his 3rd year with Baltimore. Facing a Rise, who scored the only Twins run back in the 1st inning after a leadoff double. And the Twins have not had a base run. No hits, no walks, no errors, no hit batters, no catcher's interference, nothing since the first inning.
Well, and this is the part of the lineup, the only time they've scored a run, had a chance. At the beginning of the game, Luis Arraez led off with a double.
In there, a strike, an off-speed pitch. Two and one. Plenty of fastball there, upper 90s. Arraez has basically seen everything he has now, just a few pitches in.
Yeah, just a run on that, and they classify that as a sinker. So it's got a lot of movement. It's got a lot of velocity. He's seen one breaking ball.
And now 2-2.
But that velocity alone is hard to hit, and then you combine that with the movement that he's got, and that's what gets you 127 batting average against and less than a walk and a hit an inning, all those things.
No home runs allowed in 37 innings. Missed up. Buxton on deck. "14 walks in 37 innings. Almost as many walks as hits. Driven to the left field corner. McKenna won't get there. It's a foul ball. And if it had been a fair ball, it looked like he would have caught it. He showed great range out there.
Yeah, great range. And they've got him shifted over that way, Luis Arraez. Trying to hit balls that way, but that's especially with a guy throwing a sinker like this. And that ball, that would have been a close play, but well foul.
McKenna robbed him of an extra base hit with a diving catch on the foul line in the 6th inning. Three and two. Pulled foul.
Luis Arraez, a little smile there too. Hot shot into the dugout, and that's a slider. You see 98, 99 away, up and away. Then all of a sudden that thing starts middle, and you've been seeing it go one way and it goes the other way. Arraez just lucky to make contact there.
Another one flared foul. Quite a battle here to start this 9th inning. 8 pitches thrown. 3 2-strike fouls.
You see that mix of pitches, the sinkers, upper 90s, curveball. That slider Luis yanked in the dugout.
Up the middle, of base hit, and a classic Arraez at bat. The first base runner since the first inning.
And a great at bat by Luis Arraez. Great result, but that at bat, fighting off some really tough pitches, spoiling on both sides, and then he gets a fastball that runs back over the plate. And you see him stay inside of the ball so well. He's able to find some grass up the middle.
Twins have 3 walk-off wins, but none since May 23rd. Nick Gordon running for Arraez, and will take over the DH spot if we play on. First walk-off for the Twins this year came on April 24th when Buxton hit a 3-run home run against Liam Hendricks. In there, a strike.
That's a classic moment right there.
Into the 3rd deck.
Buck. And that's when it was cold and the ball wasn't going anywhere. Where does that ball end up now?
1 strike to Buxton. And Gordon checked it first. Chatted with Nick before the game today about whether he has the green light, and he said it depends on the situation. I can't believe this would be one of those situations.
No, this is not a situation that you'd want to steal. If nothing else, you wait for a pass ball. I mean, a guy like this, he's got good command, but that velocity and the movement he has could lead to a pass ball wild pitch.
Foul, 2 strikes. Byron struck out twice already tonight, both times swinging.
But a guy that's this hard to reach base on, and he doesn't give up home runs. He hasn't given up a home run yet this year, so you're not going to give away a base runner. No reason to do that. It's hard enough to get a guy on, so you're trying to work counts, trying to do it again. But the last thing you want to do is run into an out.
Up and in with the breaking ball, 1-2. Oriole outfield playing very deep, trying to cut off any doubles. A high drive to left field. It's back. Good night and good luck.
Byron Buxton has been that guy all year long for the Twins. A game where they looked flat all night long. Tough losses in Cleveland. He put the team on his back right there.
Welcome home, Minnesota Twins. They were walked off Wednesday and Thursday, and they turned the trick on Friday night.
There it is, a hanging breaking ball. Byron Buxton, not even a full swing, so strong. And got enough of that left center field. What a win.
The swing of emotions for this fan base. So painful, the losses Wednesday and Thursday. Waiting all night long for something. And the payoff at the end. What a tremendous moment for Byron Buxton and the Twins. The hero is with Katie Storm.
Byron, the 4th walk-off win of the season for your group. All credit goes to you tonight. Take me through that final at-bat and how you were able to step up to the plate.
Just kind of before that bat, the 8th inning, me and Correa was sitting there and kind of me and C4 was kind of going over that bat, who may come out the bullpen, and just kind of the pre-planning leading up to it, and just having a guy like that in there to kind of run through the knowledge is awesome.
This isn't the first time you've been in this situation, stepping up in these kind of game moments. What kind of mental toughness does it take to focus in and get the job done like you just did?
A lot, the physical part of the game is easy. We come out here every day and do the same thing. The mental game is how strong you can be, especially when you're having a tough game. And, just staying mentally strong for me throughout the season has played a big part. And, I wouldn't be here.
It's been a tough stretch of games, 2 back-to-back losses. How much did this group need this win, and how much did they need it in this kind of fashion?
It's big, last 2 games didn't go our way, but having the crowd and the excitement going into that at-bat, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
Congrats on the win, Byron.
Thank you.
Byron Buxton, the game saver tonight. What a performance. Coming up next, Anthony LaPanta and Glenn Perkins break down everything we saw from this thrilling win in walk-off fashion. Stay with us. That's all next right here on Valley Sports North.